Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our last episode, we watched Yi Chen finally crack the code on that secret message his father left behind. The letter started out with a heavy message. It said, "Son, by the time you're reading this, I'll be long gone. But don't you worry about me, I'm perfectly safe. There's this strange, mysterious power inside my body, and it's keeping me protected. I used to think Lin Julong was hunting me because of your mother. Now I finally see the truth. It has absolutely nothing to do with her. They're actually after our family. We've got something they're dying to get their hands on. The more I think about our history, the more I'm sure the Yi family was never ordinary. I'm positive that whatever they're searching for leads straight back to your grandfather." Yi Chen whispered to himself, so it all comes back to Grandpa. He barely remembered the man. He'd passed away when Yi Chen was just a little kid, and his parents never really talked about how he died. He only had a few fuzzy memories of him left. He looked back at the paper to see what else his dad had written. The letter went on. "You probably don't have many memories of your grandfather, but he knew every little thing about you. There wasn't a single detail about you that he didn't know. He was already planning out your entire future before you even took your first breath. Actually, he's the one who chose the name Yi Chen for you. Every year on your birthday, he'd throw a special celebration just for you. Before your third birthday, he personally took you on trips to 3 specific locations. One was Kunlun Mountain and another was Hong Kong, but he never told me about the third spot. He kept that one a total secret. He was always incredibly tight-lipped whenever it came to you. Sometimes, even I started to get suspicious of him." Yi Chen suddenly had a flashback. "Dad, I remember that black stone you gave me for one of my birthdays." The letter seemed to answer his thought. "That black stone actually came from your grandfather. He even told me exactly which birthday I should give it to you. If you want to dig deeper into his life, you need to check out Kunlun Mountain and Hong Kong. I'm positive he had a lot of connections in both of those places. Right before he died, he had this mysterious friend. I never caught his name, but I'll never forget the weird symbol tattooed on his neck. I'll draw it here for you. If you ever run into it, you'll know it's the same one." Yi Chen stared at the drawing. "So this is the mark. Finally, I have a real lead on Grandpa and his shadow of a friend." Dad was right. Grandpa was definitely not a normal guy. Since his dad was just an average person, he didn't realize how intense places like Hong Kong and Kunlun Mountain really are. Dragging a toddler up Kunlun Mountain takes some serious power. Why would Grandpa take me to such dangerous spots before I was even 3 years old? There has to be a massive secret behind all of this. Maybe our true family is hiding out in one of those spots. My bloodline might be the key to everything, or maybe it's all tied to the reincarnation graveyard. My blood itself is already pretty strange. Whatever the truth is, one thing is for sure: the Yi family was never ordinary, and digging up these secrets isn't going to be easy." Right then, his phone buzzed. It was a call from the top chief. The chief sounded tired as he sighed over the line. "Kid, you really shouldn't have wiped out the Lin family like that. And even if you felt you had to, why did you have to kill Feng Xian's disciples too?" Yi Chen stayed cool. "Lin Huang tore my family apart," he replied calmly. "I didn't head over there I didn't set out to destroy the Lin family. My only goal was to rescue my father, but their actions left me with no other choice. As for Feng Zhenyi's disciples, they attacked me the very moment they arrived. They didn't come to negotiate or talk things out. They came to kill me, so I took them down in self-defense." The chief gave a slow, heavy nod. "I know. I don't think you did anything wrong, but the people you killed were incredibly important to this country. Do you have any idea how much damage you've caused? You didn't just wipe out some random family from Jiangnan. You destroyed the Lin family. They've been the nation's top power for thousands of years. Now every major clan is absolutely terrified of you. They all see you as an uncontrollable demon. I've been flooded with reports saying that if an ordinary person offends you, you'll slaughter their entire bloodline. They think you punish everyone for the mistakes of one person. I know you never kill without a reason. You always have a valid cause, but the rest of the world doesn't see it that way. In less than an hour, I've received over 600 messages and 500 phone calls. People across the country are demanding that I deploy the special forces to eliminate you. The situation is spinning out of my control. Please leave the capital immediately. Stay away until the dust settles. Don't misunderstand my intentions. I'm saying this for your own safety. If you agree, I'll arrange a private plane for you and your family right now." Yi Chen answered him firmly. "My principles are simple. If you don't provoke me, I'll never lay a finger on you. But if you cross me, I don't care if you're a guardian like Feng Zhenyi. You won't escape. Anyone who wants to come after me is more than welcome. I'm not running from anyone." With that, Yi Chen ended the call. He stared at the phone, his mind racing. My father is still with Feng Zhenyi, and Zhuang is likely with him too. The real question is, where exactly is Feng Zhenyi hiding? There's no point in dwelling on all these deaths. I need to become stronger. That is the only way I'll be able to face the dangers ahead. The next morning, Wei prepared a delicious breakfast for everyone. She wore a happy smile as she set the table. Yi Chen, how does it taste? Yi Chen watched her for a moment. She really enjoys doing little things like this, he thought to himself. As they were eating, a knock sounded at the door. Bao Zhen's voice came through. Mr. Yi, I need to talk to you. Yi Chen nodded. Come in. The moment Bao Zhen stepped inside and saw the table full of food, his mouth started watering instantly. Yi Chen laughed. If you're hungry, help yourself. Bao Zhen started stuffing a bun into his mouth. We have a problem, he said between bites. My grandfather won't be able to make it to the capital. He has to attend a Guardians meeting in Hong Kong. Yi Chen's brow furrowed. A Guardians meeting? What's it about? Bao Zhen looked him in the eye. It's about you. If the vote goes against you, it won't just be you in trouble. Your entire family could be in serious danger. Yi Chen's expression turned ice cold in an instant. So they're going after my family and friends too. Let them come. I'll destroy every single one of them. Bao felt a shiver run down his spine. He's just as terrifying as Lord Jeline, he thought. Where do monsters like these even come from? Sensing Yi Chen's rising anger, Wei gently grabbed his hand to calm him down. Yi Chen took a breath. So Feng Zhen Yi is trying to drag my family into our fight. If all the guardians are gathering, then he'll be there too, right? Bao Zhen nodded quickly. Yes, every guardian will be attending. You aren't actually planning to go to Hong Kong, are you? Please. Don't go. With all the guardians gathered in one place, it's far too dangerous. Yi Chen let out a faint smile. So what do you expect me to do? Should I just sit here and wait until Fang Yi comes knocking on my door? Besides, Dad's letter confirmed that our family has ties to Hong Kong. This is the perfect opportunity to investigate. At that exact moment, Yen sensed several powerful presences right outside the apartment. A second later, boom, the front door was kicked wide open. Several men stormed inside, shouting, "Nobody move." Bao Zhen stepped forward. Who are you people? Just then, one of the men stepped toward them. Yen, we're here on behalf of the Special Forces. A superior officer has issued an arrest warrant for you. Don't resist. It won't end well for you. Yen thought to himself. They even brought specialized weapons just for me. Without saying a single word, he calmly walked over to the sofa and sat down. That door was my favorite, he said. If it isn't repaired within 10 minutes, things won't end well for any of you. The captain frowned. Do you even realize what you're saying? I admit you're extremely powerful, but that doesn't mean no one in this country can match you. You saved General Bailey's life, so I don't want to resort to violence. We're only taking you in for questioning. Ye Chen replied, if you had knocked on the door and asked politely, I might have gone with you. But instead, you barged in and smashed my door. Even if General Bailey himself had done that, I wouldn't have let him off. You have 7 minutes left. Hurry up and get it fixed. So, you're determined to do this the hard way, the captain said. Men, get ready. He activated his weapon, and a beam of light spread across the room. It instantly formed a suppression array. Bao Zhen immediately dropped to one knee. These weapons are strange, Bao Zhen groaned. The light feels like thousands of kilograms are pressing down on my body. Wei blinked in confusion. Really? I only feel a little warm. Ye Chen explained the situation. The light contains a suppression formation. They've embedded the array inside their weapons. It only affects weaker cultivators. It doesn't work on the truly powerful. Wei smiled. So, does that mean I'm actually strong? The captain scoffed. You can keep talking all you want, but even you know you can't stand against us. Yen replied calmly, you only have 4 minutes left. The captain's patience finally snapped. It looks like you won't cooperate. We'll just have to drag you away. He reached toward Yi Chen, but the instant he did, Yi Chen grabbed his wrist. The captain struggled with all his strength, but he couldn't pull free. Furious, he drew his dagger and slashed at Yi Chen. Yi Chen casually raised a single finger. Crack, the dagger shattered into pieces. The captain's eyes widened in shock. How is this possible? Even the suppression array isn't affecting you. Yen grabbed him by the throat and lifted him into the air. You don't hunt a lion with weapons meant for sheep. You've got 2 minutes left. The captain struggled to breathe. Yen, don't make the same mistake twice. I'm only following orders. I have no personal grudge against you. Yi Chen answered coldly, 1 minute. You broke my door, so I think it's only fair that I break something of yours. Just then, Luku rushed into the room. Mr. Yi, please forgive them. The higher-ups didn't send these fools to arrest you. They were only ordered to bring you in. The investigation hasn't even been. It isn't over yet. Please let him go for my sake. Yen paused to think for a moment. To be fair, they didn't really intend to kill me. Since Luku is asking personally, I'll let it slide this one time. Luku kept talking. The top chief didn't order this. A group of high-ranking officials put pressure on the military to send them. Because of everything that's happened, General Bailey and the chief are under a ton of stress. Yen gave a small nod. Fine, I'll go with you. The captain barked out an order immediately. Deactivate the formation. He let out a secret sigh of relief. At least the mission was a success. He never expected this demon to be so cooperative. Before they left, Yi Chen tacked to face him. When I get back, I expect my door to look exactly the way it did before. If it doesn't, you're finished. Once Yi Chen was gone, one of the soldiers asked nervously, Captain, what's the plan? The captain didn't even hesitate. What do you think? Find a matching door and install it right now. I have zero interest in making an enemy out of that monster. The scene shifted to the capital's martial court. Yi Chen glanced around the area. So this is the martial court. I have to admit, it's a pretty impressive place. He silently watched everything around him. Those soldiers are carrying some specialized weapons. With gear like that, even an ordinary person could take down a grandmaster. And honestly, those guards are just for show. The truly dangerous experts are lurking in the shadows. If they all teamed up against me, even I'd have a tough fight on my hands. I didn't realize the country's hidden strength was this formidable. Then again, if the government didn't have this kind of power, martial artists would never follow the rules. Luku pushed open the courtroom doors. A lot of powerful people are already inside. Every single one of them has a status that rivals General Bailey. Even the top leaders struggle to keep them in line. That should tell you how much influence they really have. Yen just smiled. Why are you telling me all this? It's not like I'm planning to start any trouble. Luku gave him a look of pure helplessness. After everything you've already done, how can you even say that with a straight face? Yi Chen let out a short laugh. Let's head in. I'm sure there are plenty of people waiting impatiently to see me. The second he stepped inside, every pair of eyes in the room turned toward him. So that's Yi Chen. He's the demon who wiped out the Lin family in a single day. He killed a guardian and even slaughtered all of the guardian's disciples. If we don't put a stop to him today, who knows what kind of chaos he'll cause tomorrow. At that exact moment, every Dragon Soul soldier in the hall snapped to attention and saluted Yi Chen. Yi Chen flashed a grin. You guys look pretty sharp in those uniforms. Lu Shu spoke up. Everyone, please take your seats. I'm hoping we can resolve today's business peacefully. Yi Chen scanned the room. Sitting right in front of him were the most powerful figures in the entire nation. The chief let out a heavy sigh to himself. I told this kid to get out of the capital. Why doesn't he ever listen to a word I say? A man stood up to address him. Yi Chen, do you admit that you killed several powerful martial artists inside the death arena yesterday? The man was Ping Yong, the official representative for the martial families of China. Yi Chen answered him with total calm. What's there to admit? Who else could have killed them besides me? And honestly, you guys are being pretty rude. You're all sitting there comfortably, but you didn't even bother to offer me a chair. He casually grabbed a nearby chair, pulled it over, and sat down. This chair isn't exactly comfortable, but it'll work. Go on, old man. Ask me whatever you want. The entire room froze in shock. His arrogance was unbelievable. Pongyong represented every martial family in the nation. To disrespect him was a direct insult to the entire martial world. Where did this kid find such insane confidence? Pongyong didn't back down. Let's put yesterday's fight aside for a moment, he said. Was it you who killed the Guardian and wiped out the Lin family? Do you have any idea how vital those Guardians are to our country? Without them, who's going to keep this nation safe? Iken's voice was ice cold when he answered, Which Guardian are you talking about? If it's that old man from yesterday, he was just a pathetic hypocrite. Sure, he was stronger than your average person, but he didn't care about the rules. He was willing to do anything for his own personal gain. If every Guardian in this nation is like him, I'll happily hunt down every last one of them myself. The courtroom exploded in pure shock. Did he really just threaten the remaining 19 Guardians? Pongyong seized the moment immediately. You all heard him. He's an extremely dangerous individual. He doesn't feel a shred of guilt for what he's done. If we don't stop him now, he'll eventually destroy us all. I say we shouldn't just eliminate him. We need to take out everyone connected to him as well. General Bailey stood up before anyone else could speak. I object. Everything Pongyong said is just one side of the story. I looked into the incident myself. Those martial families you're so busy defending, they only showed up to watch the death arena. The second they saw the Guardian turn against Yi Chen, they attacked his family just to suck up to him, and let me make one thing crystal clear. If you added up the contributions of everyone Iken killed yesterday, it wouldn't even touch what he's done for this country. Those people were nothing more than looters trying to steal the Dragon Vein. Yi Chen was the one who actually protected it. He's a high-ranking officer and the chief instructor of Dragon Soul. So what if he took out a few hundred criminals? He saved millions of lives. His record far outweighs any of these accusations. Then Pingu, the Special Forces commander, spoke up. Ichen has made tremendous contributions to the nation. I won't argue with that. But his past success doesn't change the fact that he's a dangerous man. His choices have put our stability at risk. I don't agree with targeting his family, but we have to act. I believe we should strip him of his military rank and lock him up for life. A wave of agreement swept through the room as he finished. Many of the people present were nodding along. General Bailey slammed his fist onto the table. Shut your mouths. All of you are just speaking on behalf of the Marshall families. Don't think for a second that I can't see what's really happening here. You didn't come here to protect the country. Pingu's brow furrowed. What exactly are you trying to say? Are those Marshall families not part of this nation? Panyang chimed in quickly. If you're going to call us biased, then I can just as easily say you're only defending Ichen because you're close to him. Pingu let out a sneer. I'm starting to wonder where your loyalty really lies. You'd better be careful. I'd hate to see the country's strongest military unit crumble because of your mistakes. Bailey's face turned dark with rage. Watch your mouth or I'll knock every single tooth out of your head. Bailey. I can proudly say I've never done anything shameful in my life, Hong declared firmly. Why don't we let the chief investigate both of us? Let's see who's actually committed the filthier crimes. I'll bet you've done enough evil to earn a death sentence, yet you still have the nerve to judge Mr. Yi. Should I start naming all the innocent people you've destroyed? Finally, the #1 chief cut through the noise. I've heard everyone's arguments. Let me remind you all, the final choice is mine. I've looked into this whole incident very carefully. It's clear that Yen did everything just to save his father, the chief continued. His methods weren't perfect, but his heart was in the right place. If I were in his shoes, I might have done the exact same thing. The commander froze in shock. Was the chief actually taking Yen's side? Taking away his rank or throwing him in prison would be completely wrong, the chief said. I've already decided on a punishment. Because of Yen's actions, the country lost a lot of money. He'll pay back every cent of that damage. The room exploded in protest. Chief, is this a joke? One man shouted. Everyone knows the Tianjin group makes at least 100 million yuan a day. Even if the whole Marshall world pooled their cash, they couldn't match that. That isn't a punishment at all. The commander spoke up again. If you won't jail him, then at least strip him of his rank. He thought to himself, Lord Fangini told me to make sure Yen suffers. If he doesn't get a real punishment, I won't get my reward. Meanwhile, another official looked concerned. In our history, officers only go up. No one has ever been demoted like this. Firing him would set a dangerous precedent for everyone. Luku couldn't hold back his rage anymore. The Dragon Soul members all stood up at once. If anyone tries to touch our chief instructor, we'll show you exactly what Dragon Soul can do. The chief just shook his head. That's going too far. It's not the right move. Chief, I hope you'll think out this again, the commander pressed. You can make this choice today, but what about the fallout? What if your family gets dragged into this for protecting Yi Chen? Are you really ready to throw away your job, your name, and your family just for him? The commander asked. Suddenly, Yen stood up. What kind of nonsense is this? I'll take full responsibility for what I've done. No one else needs to pay for my choices. You don't need to strip my rank. I quit. As he turned to walk away, Yen thought, I never cared about any of this anyway. Ying jumped to her feet. Mr. Ye, please don't. You've done so much for us. You're the heart of Dragon Soul. Without you, we're nothing. Luku stood up too. If our instructor is forced out, then Dragon Soul doesn't need to exist. If he's leaving, then I'm resigning as leader as well. The commander let out a cold laugh. Who do you think you are? If you want to quit, then go ahead. Dragon Soul doesn't need you. We can find dozens of leaders just like you. One after another, every single Dragon Soul soldier stood up. If our chief and instructor walk out that door, there's no reason for us to stick around either. The commander's face turned red as he roared. Are you all threatening us? You'd better be careful. You might lose a lot more than just your jobs. Secretly, he was worried. He knew Dragon Soul held the nation's elite warriors. They were always the first to step up when lives were on the line. If this unit dissolved, it would be a total catastrophe for the country. General Bailey stood up and cleared his throat. I've got something to add. You can't force anyone to stay against their will. Besides, those injuries from the last war are still haunting me. I'm thinking about taking a 10-year retirement. An officer nearby started to sweat. General, please don't. The Blood Battalion is the backbone of our defense, and they only answer to you. If our enemies hear you've stepped down, they'll launch an attack immediately. Others quickly agreed. It was common knowledge that the Blood Battalion only followed General Bailey. Without his leadership, the nation's military power would be sliced right in half. Yen watched the chaos in total silence. It wasn't just Dragon Soul. Even Bailey was ready to throw away his legacy for him. Luku, why are you guys doing this? He asked softly. I was barely around the base as your instructor. I haven't done much for you at all. If you quit because of me, what are you going to do afterward? Luku just gave a small, confident smile. We're not worried about that. We can always pick up shifts as security guards to make a living. Mr. Yi, you might not have been around much, but your pills and training methods saved us more times than I can count. If Dragon Soul ever forgot what you did for us, we'd be the most ungrateful people on the planet. Ying nodded in agreement. During that last stop, I was basically a dead man walking. If it weren't for your medicine, I wouldn't be standing here today, and I'm not the only one who feels that way. Your training and meds saved countless members. Our missions are suicide runs. Without your help, maybe 10 or 12 of us would still be breathing today. We're not staying if you're gone. The commander jumped up again, shouting, "What is wrong with all of you?" Finally, the number 1 chief spoke up, his voice cutting through the noise. Dragon Soul is the heart of our defense. If they all walk out, I don't think a single person in this room would be brave enough to send their own troops to replace them. We all know their missions are death traps. Nobody ever volunteers for that kind of work. If any of you want to send your own men to do their job, step forward right now. The room went dead silent. Not a single person moved. The chief scanned their faces and sighed. Your silence tells me everything. None of you have the guts that Dragon Soul has. For now, this discussion is over. We'll revisit this later. Everyone nodded, accepting the reality of the situation. Fine then, the chief added. This meeting is adjourned. As they stepped out into the hallway, Yai Chen turned to the group. What was that all about? Why would you guys take such a huge risk for me? Ying just shrugged. And what about you, Mr. Yi? Just do us a favor and never talk about leaving Dragon Soul again. Yen let out a small laugh. Okay, I get it. I won't. He reached into his coat and handed Luku several bottles of spirit pills and a stack of training manuals. I put these together for you guys. Take them back to the base and share them with the brothers. I know how brave the members of Dragon Soul are, but I don't. I didn't want any of them to get dragged into trouble on my account. Ying and Lu looked at me with gratitude. Thank you so much, they replied. As Yi Chen started walking away, he tossed a final word back to them. If you guys ever run into any issues, just give me a call. He couldn't help but reflect on the situation. I never expected the members of Dragon Soul to value me this much. Their actions today really hit home. In the future, I'll do whatever it takes to pay them back. For now, I've got too many things on my plate, so I can't focus on them yet. At least I know that Feng Zini and Bao Zhen's grandfather are both in Hong Kong. If they're in the city, then Zhuang and my father are likely there too. It seems like my past is tied to that place. I guess I have no choice but to head there myself. I can't lean on Dragon Soul's strength for the time being. They've already taken a massive risk for me, and they're definitely going to face some blowback. From here on out, I'll have to rely on Dark Hall instead. Yi Chen pulled out his phone and made a call. Linfeng, how are my mom and the others doing? They're doing well, Linfeng answered, but they keep asking about you. They tried to leave several times, but then something changed. One day, they suddenly changed their minds. They started focusing on cultivation instead. Now, they're making breakthroughs in the cultivation room almost every single day. Yai Chen smiled to himself. So, they've finally started to focus on their training. That's good to hear. By the way, does Dark Hall have a branch in Hong Kong? Yes, we have a small branch there, Linfeng replied, but we don't have many members on the ground. Yi Chen nodded. I'm heading to Hong Kong. Get everything ready. A little while later, Yi Chen made it back to the teacher's apartment. He stopped to look at the front door. They replaced it with a solid one, he noted. It looks just like the old door. He had another thought. Before I head out, I should talk to Bao Zhen. I need to figure out what's actually happening with his grandfather. Yi Chen dialed the number. Bao Zhen, do you want to come to Hong Kong with me? Sorry, man, Bao Zhen replied, sounding apologetic. I'm actually already in Hong Kong to welcome my grandfather. Yi Chen nodded. That's fine. I'll be there in a few days. He hung up and thought I'd better start packing my things. Just as he reached for his bedroom door, Wei Yi stepped out. She was fully dressed and looked ready to go. She gave him a bright smile. Yi Chen, I'm all set for our trip. Yai Chen stared at her, completely surprised. Ready for a trip? Where exactly do you think you're going? If you're planning to teach your class, those clothes definitely aren't right for school. Wei Yi pouted at him. I overheard your phone call. You were talking to Bao Zhen about going to Hong Kong. You can't just go on a trip all by yourself. Please take me with you. Can I come? Sure, you can come, Yi Chen replied. But first of all, we're going there for work. It's not a sightseeing tour. Wei Yi's face lit up. I've already taken a leave of absence from work. I've never been to Hong Kong before, so please let me go. You can handle your business while I explore the city. Yi Chen let out a quiet sigh. I don't really have a choice here. I have to take her with me. The crystal seal on her body has already gotten a lot weaker. I have no clue when her evil personality might try to take over. If I leave her behind, something terrible could happen at any moment. Then why are you still standing around? He finally said. Let's get moving. Wei was overjoyed and jumped toward him. You're the best. Before Yi Chen could react, she planted a quick kiss on his cheek. A second later, her face turned a deep shade of red. I just got too excited, she stammered. I hope. After they stepped onto the private jet, Wei scanned the cabin in total disbelief. A private plane? She had only ever seen these in the movies. Am I actually dreaming right now? She whispered. She turned her gaze toward Yen. You really don't look a rich guy, but you're actually incredibly wealthy, aren't you? Yen gave a small, private smile. To be honest, I'm not even sure how much money I have. Ruo and Sunny handle all of the company's finances. He looked at the pendant he had given her. It was doing its job for the moment, but it wouldn't be able to hold back her power forever. The energy coiled inside her body was truly frightening. But then a thought struck him. Why hadn't anything shifted when she took the pendant off earlier? Maybe her evil soul was too terrified to show itself in front of him. Or maybe it just had no intention of coming out yet. Regardless, he decided he should make the talisman stronger. Yen focused his spiritual energy and reinforced the jewelry with a fresh talisman. He handed the piece back to her. Here, put this on. Wei stared at the object in shock. It's actually glowing now. Did you polish it or something? Yen chuckled. I didn't just clean it. I used my power to make it much more effective. This talisman can shield you from a massive attack. As long as you keep wearing it, that evil spirit won't be able to mess with you. Wei gripped the pendant tightly. This was the very first gift she had ever received from a guy. Just then, a member of Dark Hall stepped forward. My lord, we will be landing in Hong Kong very soon. Not long after, Yi Chen and Wei arrived at their hotel. Wei's eyes sparkled as she took in the massive, luxurious suite. This place is so beautiful and huge, she said. Then the reality of the situation hit her. Wait, Yen only booked a single room. Why on earth would he do that? Yen explained the situation calmly. I only booked one room so I can keep an eye on you. You can take the bedroom and I'll stay out here in the living area. Wei just stared at him. Can you read my mind too? She asked. She let out a quiet sigh. He was so unbelievably dense. At that moment, a man from Dark Hall stepped up to introduce himself. My lord, I'm the head of the Hong Kong branch. My name is Keanu. If you need anything at all, just let me know. Yen got straight to the point. Do you know anything about the Guardians? Keanu shook his head with an apologetic look. I'm sorry, my lord. I don't have any info on them. Honestly, we didn't even know the Guardians existed until you took one of them out. Yen considered this. The overall strength of the Hong Kong branch was much lower than the capital branch. It made sense that they were completely out of the loop. Keanu hesitated for a second before speaking up again. My lord, I have a request. Yi Chen nodded for him to continue. Please, allow our association to start its operations again, Keanu pleaded. 90% of our members grew up in this trade. It's the only way we've ever made a living. Aside from assassination, we don't know how to do anything else. He looked down. Right now, many of our people are barely scraping by with odd jobs. If this keeps up, many of our brothers are eventually going to starve. The realization hit Yen hard. You're right, I completely overlooked that, he admitted. If I forbid you from working, how are all of you supposed to survive? He made a decision on the spot. From now on, headquarters will provide the funding for every branch. He figured that as long as the Tianzin group kept making money, the members of Dark Hall would never have financial problems. If the Hong Kong branch was struggling, the other branches were likely facing the same issue. He would tell Ruo to distribute funds to every branch based on their member count. Keanu bowed respectfully. Thank you, my lord. Just then, his phone started to buzz. My lord, you've just arrived, so... Please take a break and get some rest, she said. I just received an urgent assignment, so I've got to head back right now. Yen Chen rose to his feet. In that case, I'm coming along. As the Lord of Dark Hall, it's my responsibility to see how my people are doing. The scene shifted to the Hong Kong branch of Dark Hall. A formidable man glared at the crowd, his voice full of rage. You disgusting assassins. I'm going to erase every single one of you from this world. One of the masked assassins stepped forward, trembling. Who are you, and why are you attacking us? We've never done a single thing to you. The man let out a cold sneer. Is that what you think? You really believe you've done nothing? With lightning fast strike, he sent the assassin crashing down, leaving him badly wounded. You people made a massive mistake when you decided to go against us, the man mocked. Do you want to know why I've only been beating you instead of finishing the job? I was waiting for the leader of you rats to finally show up. He scanned the room with a predatory gaze. Now that he's finally here, I can kill every last one of you together. So, Keanu, how long do you plan on playing hide and seek? The moment the words left his mouth, he lunged. Keanu barely managed to dodge the initial blow. How did he find me? Keanu wondered, his heart racing. The man laughed at his struggle. So, you're pretty good at hiding. Let's see how you handle this next attack. With one powerful blow, he sent Keanu flying across the room. The other assassins watched in horror. Lord Keanu lost that easily? One of them shouted in disbelief. Our dark hall has never provoked you. We don't even know who you are. Why are you trying to slaughter us? The man's face twisted into a smirk. You're all about to die anyway, so the truth won't change your fate. But fine, I'll let you know. I'm from Jinga Mountain. He stepped closer, his presence suffocating. I'm here to end you because my master gave the order. Now that you know the reason, just die quietly. He moved to deliver the final blow, but Yen suddenly stepped in. He caught the attacker's dagger with his bare hand. The room went silent as eyes widened in shock. That's our hall master. Wasn't he supposed to be in the capital? What is he doing here? The attacker struggled, his face turning pale. I can't even pull my blade free. Yen stared him down with eyes like ice. Who gave you the courage to lay a hand on my people? As he spoke, the metal of the dagger began to liffy, melting right in the man's hand. Yen then drove a devastating punch straight into the man's chest. Answer me. Who gave you the guts to touch my people? The man spat out a mouthful of blood, his expression full of terror. How can a normal person possess this kind of power? I'm from the Li family of Hong Kong, he gasped. My master is one of the strongest experts from Kunlun Mountain. You can't kill me. Yen paused, his mind racing. Kunlun Mountain was famous for housing legendary warriors. They were powerful enough to dominate the entire martial arts world of China. The mountain was soaked in thick spiritual energy because it sat right at the gateway to the Kunlun Void. However, the mountain and the void were two very different realms. While Kunlun Mountain was part of this world, the Kunlun Void was something else entirely. From the outside, it looked small, but the inside was as massive as the earth itself. It was basically an independent world beyond our own. Since the entrance sat within Kunlun Mountain, a tiny bit of spiritual energy was always leaking out. That's why the people from the mountain were so much stronger than typical cultivators from the outside world. Most of the people living there were descendants of residents from the Kunlun Void. They had been exiled after committing terrible crimes. Today, many of the exiles held high-ranking positions and massive influence across the region. Once I finish handling things in this country, I'll have to head back there myself. The expert from the Li family yelled, so you're familiar with Kun Mountain. In that case, why don't you just put out those flames and give up? Yishin let out a cold smile. You definitely talk too much, he said. With a single swift strike, he ended the man's life instantly. He thought to himself, I've already taken down people from the Kun Void itself. Why would I worry about offending someone from Kun Mountain? The Dark Hall assassins stared at Yishin with pure admiration. Our hall master is incredibly strong, they whispered. We really picked the right leader to follow. They all bowed with deep respect. Thank you so much, Lord. Yishin looked at them and asked, that man claimed to be from Hong Kong's Li family. Do any of you know anything about them? Keanu spoke up. The Li family is one of the most powerful clans in Hong Kong. They have massive wealth, huge influence, and top-tier martial arts. We've always been careful never to cross them. Yishin's brow furrowed. If you never went after them, then why did they show up here to slaughter you? Think back. Did any of you take a contract against them? A female assassin slowly lifted her hand. This is all my fault, she admitted. I was completely broke, so I took an assassination job yesterday. I didn't mention it to anyone else. Keanu instantly flared up with anger. How could you be so reckless? Because of your one mistake, our entire branch was almost destroyed. Yishin raised his hand to quiet him. Let her finish. Besides, it was my mistake for not looking after your finances. We can't put all the blame on her. If she felt forced to take a dangerous job because we couldn't support her, then I forgive her, Yishin continued. Now, tell me everything that happened. The female assassin explained. Someone reached out yesterday and hired me to kill a rich man in Hong Kong. While I was on the job, I heard the eldest son of the Li family talking to someone. They were discussing Jiangdao Mountain. I'm not sure what Jiangdao is, but they kept talking about something called the Guardians, she added. The Guardians meeting? Yishin asked. She nodded. Yes, they were definitely talking about some kind of meeting for the Guardians, but I don't know how Jiangdao fits into it. Yishin thought it over. He had heard of Jiangdao before. It was a sacred mountain, and that was why it stayed closed off to the public. The Guardians likely used that spot for their gatherings. Even the most powerful families in Hong Kong wouldn't dare speak of Jiangdao. It seemed like they were getting ready for that very meeting. The assassin hung her head in shame. They must have realized I heard their conversation. That's probably why they came to kill me. This whole mess is on me. I'll give up my life to pay for this error. Yichen stopped her immediately. I agree you made a mistake, but it's not worth dying over. The info you gave me is actually incredibly valuable, so I forgive you. He thought to himself, I've been wondering where to track down the Guardians. I just got to Hong Kong, and I've already stumbled onto their location. Yichen pulled out several pills. Quickly, take these. They'll heal your wounds in no time. The assassins began to whisper in shock. These are incredibly high-grade pills. Our new hall master is truly something else. Yichen looked around the room. This place isn't safe anymore. I'll have Linfeng find a new headquarters for all of you. And don't. You don't have to stress about money anymore. From this point on, I'll make sure the funds hit your accounts on the 1st of every month. Yi Chen thought to himself, Zhengdan is my next stop. According to that assassin's intel, the Guardians are almost definitely gathering there. I don't know the first thing about that area, though. Charging in without a plan would be a death wish. I'll reach out to Bao Zhen first to get the scoop on Zhang Daoan. I need to figure out exactly what I'm walking into. When Yi Chen stepped into his hotel room, the sound of singing met his ears. He realized Wei was in the shower, so he decided to stay out of there for a bit. Before he could turn around and leave, she stepped right out of the bathroom. The water is so refreshing, she hummed. Then she spotted Yi Chen and froze, her face turning bright red. Why are you back already? Hurry up and shut the door before someone sees. Yi Chen shut the door without a word. Wei panicked, saying, turn around, I have to get dressed. Actually, no, you might peek. I'm going back in the bathroom. Yi Chen stood there, confused. What was that all about? I'll just wait in the living room. Take as long as you need. Wei cracked the bathroom door open an inch. My clothes are out in the living area. Can you bring them over? She asked. Yi Chen spotted a pile of fabric. She must mean these, he thought. Wei shouted, yes, those. Be quick. He grabbed the clothes and passed them through the gap. Wei let out a sigh of relief, glad to have her things. But when she looked down, her heart dropped. Wait, what did he bring me? She thought. I can't wear this in front of him. This outfit is basically see-through. It's like wearing nothing at all. I've got to find another option. A little later, Yi Chen sat in the lobby with Bao Zhen. My grandfather said he'll see you, Bao Zhen told him. He's going to be at the tea house in about 2 hours. Yi Chen gave a quick nod. Got it. I'll make sure to be there. Wei crept out of her room, trying to be silent. He's distracted with his conversation, she thought. I can sneak by before he even looks up. Yi Chen saw her the second she moved, but he decided to play along. I'll just act like I don't see her, he mused. Wei felt proud of herself and grinned. I'm a genius, he has no idea I'm even here. She was only 2 steps from safety when her stomach let out a loud, traitorous growl. Yi Chen glanced over with a smirk. Hungry, are you? Let me order us some to eat. Mortified, Wei bolted back into her room. He knew I was there the whole time, she realized. Yi Chen called out after her, go get some real clothes on, then we'll grab a meal. You're gonna catch a cold if you stay like that. The scene shifts over to the peaks of Jan Mountain. Fang Shenyi looked at one of his men. Did you get that job done, he asked. The subordinate bowed low. Yes, my lord, it's all finished. All the current intel on Yi Chen is right here on this tablet. You can look through it now. Fang Shenyi scowled at the device. I'll never get the hang of these high-tech toys. Just read the report to me. The man started reading the file. Our latest reports show Yi Chen left the capital yesterday. He's already touched down in Hong Kong. Fang Shenyi's eyes narrowed. I expected finding him would take a lot of effort. Instead, he came to Hong Kong himself, so he made things much easier for me. He looked up and asked, was there an old master traveling with him? He kept thinking to himself. Yi Chen vanished for 5 whole years and came back with unbelievable power. I'm positive he's tied to some legendary master. He could be from Kun Mountain, or maybe even the Kun Void. He might even be the direct disciple of some legendary master. If his teacher is with him, we can't afford to make a move. The subordinate spoke up, no, lord. He arrived all by himself, except for one young woman. He checked the latest reports. She doesn't have a special background. She's just an ordinary teacher at Beijing University, and her family is completely normal. Fang Zhenyi smiled. So, instead of bringing a powerful master, he brought a pretty girl. It looks like I gave him too much credit. In the end, he's just another young guy enjoying life. Spread the word across all of Hong Kong, he ordered. Anyone who brings me Yi Chen's head will get protection from every guardian, and they'll have my personal support. The subordinate was shocked. The backing of Fang and the guardians was a massive prize. People would do anything for a reward like that, especially since they only had to kill one young man. Yi Chen won't survive until tomorrow. I'll go spread the news right now. After the subordinate left, another man stepped forward. Master, Yi Chen has already killed several guardians and their students. Do you really think anyone in Hong Kong can actually beat him? Trying to provoke him could bring a disaster down on the whole city. Fang Zhenye gave a confident smile. Han, you're being too naive. You don't see my strategy. Beijing is a long way from Hong Kong. The people here don't know anything about what happened over there. If they don't know how terrifying Yi Chen really is, why would they be scared to challenge him? I know they probably won't be able to kill him. But once everyone hears that he's started a killing spree in Hong Kong too, his reputation will be trashed. That's going to help us a lot during the Guardians meeting. Later on, Yi Chen reached the tea house. Bao Zhen greeted him. My grandfather and his friend are waiting for you in the garden, she said. As Yi Chen pushed the gate open, Bao Zhen's grandfather smiled. Our guest has finally arrived. This was Bo Bing, the leader of the Bao family. However, the other guardian spoke with a cold voice. I'm not even sure if he's worthy of being called a guest. Anyone who sits with us should at least have the right qualifications. Yi Chen caught on immediately. He's testing my strength. Without saying a single word, Yi Chen let out a massive burst of spiritual pressure. It instantly crushed the guardian's aura. Bao Bing smiled with satisfaction. What an incredible young genius. Come, Yi Chen, take a seat. The other guardian chimed in again. Anyone who isn't part of this business needs to leave. Yi Chen stayed calm. She's my friend, so she's staying. Sit down, Wei. The guardian's brow furrowed. I thought the stories about Yi Chen being arrogant were made up, but he's even worse than I thought. Even the leaders of the great families bow their heads to the guardians. Where does this kid get his confidence? Bao Bing smiled. Yi Chen's friend is an honored guest as well. She can stay. Bao Zhen spoke up. Grandfather, I don't think you invited Yi Chen here just to sip tea. Bao Bing nodded. Of course not. I brought him here to discuss the decision that will be made at tomorrow's Guardians meeting. Yi Chen, it wouldn't be such a huge problem if you'd only hurt Guardian 2 Union, but you killed him, and then you killed Fang Zhenyi's disciples too. Fang Zhenyi is doing everything he can to talk the other Guardians into getting rid of you. The final decision will be made through. It's all coming down to a vote. As far as I can tell, most of the Guardians are already planning to side against you. Right now, the situation is definitely not in your favor. If I weren't Bo Zhen's grandfather, and if I didn't know the whole truth behind what happened, I probably wouldn't be supporting you either. Yen asked in a level voice, I've got a question. If Feng Yi is really as powerful as they say, why doesn't he just come here and end me himself? Why is he wasting so much time organizing all these meetings? Bei Bing let out a heavy sigh. That's exactly what he wants. He's looking to destroy you completely. You vanished for 5 years and returned powerful enough to take down a guardian. Everyone knows you couldn't have reached that level of strength on your own. He isn't actually afraid of you. He's terrified of the force backing you up. He's worried that if he strikes first and your master steps in, he'll be the one to pay the price. Whoever trained a disciple as powerful as you has to be a living legend. But if he can get all the guardians to support your execution through an official vote, it becomes the collective will. Even your master wouldn't be able to retaliate against all of them at once. That's his strategy. The easiest way out is for you to just tell everyone who your master really is. Once Feng Yi learns your master's identity, he'll back down. Most of the other guardians would probably start falling in line to support you instead. The other guardians remained quiet, thinking to themselves. To be honest, I didn't show up today for Bao Zhen or Bei Bing. I came here to figure out who the legendary master behind Yi Chen actually is. Anyone who can train someone like him must be an incredible expert. If we could get even a little bit of guidance from a person like that, it would change everything for us. Yen gave a small, faint smile. I think you've all got the wrong idea. What master are you even talking about? There isn't anyone standing behind me. Everything I've achieved, I did on my own merit. Both guardians were left speechless by his words. One of them finally spoke up, sounding annoyed. Are you messing with us, kid? We're trying to save your life, yet you're still playing games and hiding the truth from us. He thought to himself, there's no way this boy got this strong without help. He clearly doesn't understand just how powerful the guardians really are. Yen answered him calmly, believe me or don't, that's your choice. But I'm telling you the straight truth. He looked away, thinking to himself, even if I told them about the hundreds of terrifyingly powerful experts I have behind me, men who could level an entire nation, they wouldn't buy it anyway. As for my actual master, he's a man who just wants peace. He's the one who taught me everything I know about medicine. I'm not about to drag him into this mess and let these people bother him. Besides, I can already feel it. Xinian Li is going to return very soon. Once he's back, none of these people will even think about laying a finger on me. That's why I'm not sweating this guardian meeting at all. Even if they all decide I should die, it won't change a thing. When Xinian Li stands at my side, it'll be their funeral, not mine. Bei Bing smiled. If you don't want to reveal your secrets, that's fine. Everyone's got something they keep hidden. I only suggested revealing your backing so the others would back off out of fear. But if you aren't going to do it, I won't push you. You're a friend to Bowen and you haven't done anything wrong, so I'll give you my vote. That's the best I can do for you. Yen gave a short nod. Fair enough, let's get moving. Just then, one of Bei Bing's subordinates came rushing toward them. Elder Bao, we have a serious problem. Senior Fang Zhen Yi just released a public decree. He's promising the protection of every single guardian to anyone in Hong Kong who brings him Yiqin's head. The other guardian turned his gaze toward Aikin. The entire city is hunting you now. Listen to me, kid. Just tell us who your master is. Bei Bing and I can keep you safe, but without a name, we can't even promise you'll make it through the trial alive. Aikin didn't blink as he gave a calm reply. I've got this under control. Once Aikin walked away, Bei Bing turned to the others. Why were you so obsessed with making him reveal his teacher? The other guardian asked. The old man sighed. That boy doesn't realize how terrifying Fang Zhen Yi can be. Still, I have to admit, watching those two go at it should be quite a show. Bei Bing then looked at Baojian with a serious expression. Stick to Aikin like glue. If he ends up in over his head, let me know immediately. I'll step in and handle things myself. Baojian gave a quick nod. I understand, grandfather. The other guardian just shook his head and frowned. Why are you trying so hard to save that boy? He wouldn't even be straight with us. I'm telling you, sticking your neck out for him won't bring you any favors. Bei Bing just smiled. Think about it. When Aichen sat before two powerful guardians, did you see even a flicker of fear in his eyes? No. He isn't a fool, and that kind of confidence doesn't just appear out of thin air. If he were really doing this all alone, he would have been dead a long time ago, Bei Bing continued. You and I both know the truth. Just because we're called guardians doesn't mean we're actually at the top of the food chain. We only look like we're the best because the truly dangerous people choose to stay in the shadows. We've already hit the ceiling of our cultivation. Honestly, our lives don't have much excitement left. But this young man, I find him incredibly fascinating. That's why I want to see him survive. The other guardian stayed silent, thinking his friend had finally lost his mind. He knew that saving Aichen was a nearly impossible task, yet Bei Bing was still doubling down on it. Meanwhile, Aichen and Wei hailed a cab. Head over to the Dragon Hotel, Aichen told the driver. However, it didn't take long for the driver to take a sudden, suspicious turn. Wei's brow furrowed in concern. Aichen, something's off. This isn't the way we came. Wake up and look. He's driving us way out of the city. You need to do something. Aichen just offered a faint, knowing smile. Of course he's taking us away from the city. It's a lot harder for them to jump us when there are witnesses around. The driver suddenly slammed on the brakes and the car came to a halt. So, you figured it out, did you? Outside, dozens of martial artists were already waiting in the shadows. One of them let out a dark laugh. Luring him here was way easier than I expected. Once we finish him off today, Lord Fang is going to be very pleased with us. The driver grinned as he looked back at them. I knew you'd just hop into any taxi without thinking twice. Now get out. Your death is waiting for you on the pavement. Aichen stepped out of the vehicle and looked back at Wei. Just stay in the car, pull up a video on your phone and relax. I'll be back before the clip even ends. Wei looked terrified, but there are so many of them. Are you sure you can take them all on? Just focus on your video, not the fight, Aichen said with a smile. He quickly traced a pattern in the air, creating a shimmering protective barrier around the car. The surrounding enemies were stunned. He set up a formation that fast. It doesn't matter. Knowing a few spells doesn't mean you're actually strong. Everyone move in. Just try not to damage his head. Aichen's smile turned cold. So you're really going to underestimate my techniques? Fine. I'll wipe all of you out today using nothing but talismans. With a flick of his wrist, he activated a thunder talisman. In an instant, the sky turned pitch black as massive storm clouds swirled directly overhead. The assassin stared up in pure horror. What's happening? The sky just went pitch black. Does he actually control the lightning? A second later, bolts of heavenly fire rained down on the crowd. The attackers scream in agony as the strikes hit them one after another. This is impossible. He can actually command the forces of nature. Only a god should have power like this. Nearby, several experts watch from the shadows in total disbelief. Are we dreaming? Over 50 powerful martial artists just got wiped out in a single heartbeat, and Ekin didn't even break a sweat. He looks out over the charred battlefield with a cold gaze. My talismans aren't meant to kill true masters, he thinks, but they're more than enough for weaklings like you. He turns his eyes toward the dense forest surrounding them. How much longer do you all plan on hiding? Come out now, before I lose my patience. A few hidden experts slowly emerge from the trees. He found us, they whisper. We aren't even close to his level. If we try to fight him, we're dead. Ekin's voice is ice cold. If you want to die, take a step forward. If you want to live, run. The moment he finishes the sentence, every single one of them turns tail and flees. As they run, they shout in terror. Fengani set us up. That monster is way beyond anything we can handle. Yen turns back toward the car and sighs. Come on, Wei. Let's get moving. Over at the tea house, the other guardian takes a slow sip of his tea. Tonight is going to be a long night for Yen, he says. I wonder how many families have already started hunting him. Bei Bing just shakes his head. I doubt that. Yichen killed Guardian Tu Yuntian with just one strike. Fenggani's disciples couldn't even put up a fight against him. He wiped out the Lin family in the capital all by himself, too. Aside from us Guardians, I don't think anyone in Hong Kong can actually hurt him. Right then, Bao Zhen rushes into the room. Grandfather, I have urgent news. Yen just defeated dozens of martial artists on his own. The entire martial arts world in Hong Kong is terrified of him now. Every major family has already announced they won't make an enemy of him anymore. The second guardian is stunned by the report. Did he really wipe them all out in one night? It looks like this kid is way stronger than I imagined. Bao Zhen continues his report. Over 50 masters couldn't even force him to use his full power. And that wasn't even one of his secret techniques, it was just something ordinary. Every major family in the city is paralyzed with fear. They've recalled every single family member, even the low-level ones. They've locked their gates and ordered everyone to stay indoors. They've made it clear that as long as Yen is in Hong Kong, they won't dare set foot outside. Bei Bing smiles to himself. I definitely bet on the right person. Even if I have to risk my life to protect him, it will be worth it. Later, back at the hotel, Keen speaks up. My lord, I've gathered some intel on Zhangdao Mountain. I even had drones take some aerial photos of the area. Yen gives a short nod. If I need anything else, I'll let you know. He looks out toward the distant peaks. Jiangdan lies in the western part of Hong Kong. 26 years ago, it was just an ordinary mountain. But then, something strange happened. The entire climate shifted, and fire literally rained down from the sky. Countless experts rushed to the area to investigate, but not a single one ever returned. According to the records, about 150 experts entered that mountain, and not one of them came back alive. That's why the place was sealed off. The public was told it was a sacred. It was a mountain that was strictly off-limits to everyone. Most people simply couldn't grasp the strange, mysterious power hidden within its peaks. Yen kept thinking about it. There are several mountains in Kunlun with these kinds of anomalies, and that usually points to one thing. A legendary treasure is hidden there. A powerful formation must be covering that mountain. That's the only thing that could cause all of this. He started scanning the drone photographs with intense focus. He needed to figure out what kind of formation he was dealing with. After staring at the images for a long time, he couldn't spot anything out of the ordinary. This formation seemed way more complex than the ghost illusion one. Breaking it was going to be a much more difficult challenge. Then something suddenly caught his eye. Wait, what is that? He zoomed in on a specific section of the mountain. There stood an ancient tome, and it bore the exact same symbol his father had once shown him. Yen's eyes went wide. That's the same mark his grandfather's friend had on his neck. Did his grandfather actually bring him to Jiangdan Mountain in Hong Kong back then? But why would he do that? What was his reason? Could his reincarnation be tied to this place? One thing was for sure, something was definitely wrong with Jiangdan. He couldn't just rely on these photos anymore. It would be much better if he investigated in person. Yen headed up to the hotel rooftop. Since it was the tallest building in the area, he'd get the clearest view of the mountain from there. As a cultivator, his vision was already much sharper than a normal person's. By using his eye technique, he could enhance it even further. The technique activated, and the mountain became visible in incredible detail. His expression shifted instantly. So that's what it is. A massive, ancient spirit-gathering formation was wrapped around the entire mountain. This is the kind of formation that is nearly impossible for modern cultivators to pull off. It constantly pulls in spiritual energy from a 100-mile radius. The energy density there probably matches the Kunlun Void itself, not just Kunlun Mountain. It's hard to believe a place like this even exists in Hong Kong, but who could have built such an advanced formation? Right then, Yen pulled out the black stone. It started vibrating violently in his hand. He frowned at it. Why are you acting up like this just because of that mountain? Suddenly, a voice drifted out from the mysterious graveyard. No matter what happens, you have to get the item hidden on that mountain. Yen called out, what exactly are you talking about? I can't even tell which tomb master is speaking. The voice just kept going. The soul-suppressing sword, and the other one too. Yen's brow furrowed. Senior, what are you trying to say? Please, just tell me clearly. I can't do anything with these vague hints. Before he could get another answer, the voice vanished. Yen let out a long sigh. It looked like he didn't have a choice. He had to head to that mountain tomorrow. Whatever was hidden there had definitely caught the graveyard's attention. High above the clouds, a mysterious old master was watching Yen from a distance. So the kid from the Yi family has finally arrived in Hong Kong, but how did he manage to discover the formation? The master smiled as he opened a barrier. I guess this is just fate, my old friend. No matter how hard you tried, you could never really change destiny. Now that he's here, I'm interested to see what his next move will be. Yin went back down to his room. He looked at Wei, feeling quite surprised. Weren't you supposed to be asleep? What are you doing here? Wei lowered her head, still visibly shaken by everything that happened yesterday. I'm really scared. Is it okay if I sleep beside you tonight? Yai Chen offered her a small smile. I was planning to spend the night cultivating anyway, so go ahead and get some rest. Wei lay down and drifted off almost immediately. Meanwhile, Yi Chen began his work. Cultivation was vital for healing his body and refilling his spiritual energy. For people like him, the process itself is a form of deep rest. What takes a normal person 8 hours of sleep can be achieved by a cultivator in only 10 minutes of meditation. As he looked over at Wei, he noticed something unusual. She was actually cultivating even while she was fast asleep. It had to be that evil soul inside her. It was secretly using her physical form to gather power without waking her up. The spirit knew her body was still way too weak. At her current speed, she wouldn't be gaining strength anytime soon, so the soul was stepping in to help her grow. After all, if anything happened to Wei, the spirit inside her would perish as well. At this rate, she was going to catch up to his cultivation level much faster than he ever expected. The scene shifted over to the Li family estate. The head of the family looked around at the gathered relatives. You've all watched the footage now. What do you think of this man? One of the family members stood up, his voice tense. Father, if the things shown in that video are actually real, then Yi Chen is incredibly powerful. He's so strong that he could probably fight the Guardians head-on. Lai Sheng shook his head slowly. You're still underestimating him. When I first witnessed his strength, I found it hard to believe too, so I had my people look into his background. In less than 24 hours, he wiped out the Lin family. They were the strongest family in the capital. He also killed Guardian Tu Yantian. Everyone in the room gasped in shock. He's really that powerful, but he looks so young. Lai Cheng continued his explanation. We previously sent one of our top masters to take out the Dark Hall, but that man never came back. Later, we discovered that Yi Chen is actually the Lord of the Dark Hall, so you can probably guess what happened to our master. The entire room went dead silent. Everyone turned pale as ghosts. So, we've already offended Yi Chen, someone whispered. We're finished. He's never going to let us off the hook. Suddenly, one of the family members spoke up. Everyone, just calm down. I think we should use the full power of our family to eliminate this guy once and for all. Family head Li Cheng immediately shook his head. You're completely wrong. You all know that the people of Zhengdan are our enemies too. When I looked into Yi Chen, I discovered that he has a deep grudge against them as well. Do you see where I'm going with this? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Instead of making Yi Chen our enemy, we should be trying to ally with him. If we do, we'll be able to use his raw strength to get our revenge. He then turned to look at his son. I'm putting you in charge of this task. I don't care what it takes. You have to become his friend, and if you can't manage that, make absolutely sure you never offend him again. His son gave a confident nod. Don't worry, father. I'll handle it. Lai Cheng wasn't finished yet. In just a few days, people from the Conlin Void will arrive to recruit new talent. Yi Chen is incredibly gifted. If he enters the Conlin Void, he'll definitely make a name for himself. If we can earn his favor now, it'll be a huge benefit for our family in the future. The scene shifted once more. Yi Chen had spent the entire night focused on his cultivation. As the morning sun arrived, he felt that the night's work was definitely worth the effort. Wei had also grown much stronger while she was sleeping. He'd originally planned to suppress the dark soul trapped inside her. However, if that spirit is actually helping her, there's no reason to step in. Right at that moment, Wei opened her eyes. Oh, you're awake too, she said. Yi Chen's brow furrowed. Was he just imagining things? Or did that malevolent spirit take control of Wei the second she woke up? He stood up and brushed himself off. Get moving. We're heading out for breakfast, he said. After that, we have some serious business to handle. Wei gave him a bright smile. I'll be ready in 5 minutes. Suddenly, shouting voices erupted from the hallway. Does Yi Chen live in this room? Open up right now. If you don't, we're kicking the door down. Yi Chen pulled the door open. Several Hong Kong police officers were standing there looking tense. One of them flashed a badge. Mr. Yi, we're with the Hong Kong Police Department. A body was discovered on the roof of this building. The security cameras show you heading up there last night. You need to come down to the station for questioning. Yi Chen didn't blink. I'll have my lawyer get in touch with you, he replied calmly. Deep down, he knew the truth. I didn't kill anyone on that roof. This has to be another one of Fan Sheng's pathetic tricks. Mr. Yi, please just cooperate, the officer insisted. We're following direct orders. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Secretly, the officer was sweating. His bosses told him to arrest this guy on any possible charge, but they also warned him not to get rough. What was he supposed to do if the guy just said no? I already told you, Yi Chen said, his voice turning cold. Talk to my lawyer. He turned back toward the room and called out, Wei, hurry it up. We have a busy schedule. The officer stepped into the doorway. You don't have a choice here. You're coming with us. Yi Chen let out a faint, dangerous smile. Oh, is that how it's going to be? He released a sudden pulse of spiritual energy. The force slammed into the officers, knocking them all backward in an instant. This is the last time I'm going to say it. Call my lawyer. He didn't want to actually hurt them, though. They were just being used as pawns in someone else's game. How dare you assault a police officer? The lead cop shouted, his face turning red. It looks like we're doing this the hard way. Before he could move, a young man walked up behind them. So, you're trying to drag someone out of my hotel. It seems you've forgotten exactly who owns this establishment. The officers froze, their expressions shifting instantly to pure terror. Young Master Li, what are you doing here? The officer stammered. We're incredibly sorry. We completely blanked on the fact that this was your property. We'll just take the suspect and get out of your hair. Li Yun Chen ignored them and gave Yi Chen a respectful bow. Mr. Yi, it is truly an honor to have you staying with us. Please, don't give this another thought. I'll handle this situation personally. He turned back to the police, his voice sharp. Mr. Yi is an honored guest. I can guarantee he hasn't caused any trouble. You have zero authority to arrest him here. Now, get out. The officers didn't say a word, but their minds were racing. Li Yun Chen was the heir to the Li family. Even their highest-ranking superiors treated that family with total caution. It looked like they'd almost picked a fight with the wrong person. This Yi Chen guy was clearly anything but ordinary. Without another word, the police turned and hurried away. Yi Chen watched them go, feeling suspicious. Does he really treat every single guest this way? No, there's no way. He's definitely doing this specifically for my benefit. But the real question is, what does he want from me? Just then, Wei walked out of the room. I'm all set. Come on, Yi Chen, let's go grab some breakfast. She stopped when she saw the stranger. Wait, who is this guy? Li Yun Chen flashed a polite, charming smile. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Li Yun Chen. I apologize for dropping in so unexpectedly. Would you both do me the honor of letting me buy you breakfast? He shook his head, dismissing the offer. That's not necessary, he said. He couldn't help but think about yesterday. The Li family had launched an attack on Dark Hall, and he'd already shown them mercy by letting them live. Now, they were suddenly trying to play nice and befriend him. It didn't make sense. Zhang Dashan was far more important, and he didn't have any time to waste on their games. Li Yun Chen spoke up quickly before he could leave. Mr. Yi, I heard you're planning to visit Zhang Dashan Mountain. You should know it won't be easy. The Guardians are holding a meeting there, and breaking the mountain's formation is nearly impossible. But if the Li family helps you, everything will become much easier. Before he could even finish the sentence, Yi Chen had already walked away. He ignored the man completely. Li Yun Chen immediately pulled out his phone and called his father. Father, he wouldn't listen to a word I said. He just ignored me and headed straight for Zhangdaoan Mountain. Li Cheng's voice was firm on the other end. Stay with him. If he needs help at any point, don't hesitate to step in. Soon, Yi Chen arrived at the base of Zhangdaoan Mountain. As he began to climb higher, he realized something. An ordinary person wouldn't even be able to take a single step up this slope. The gravity became heavier with every foot he gained. This mountain was anything but ordinary. It was clear the formation covering the peak was responsible for the pressure. It was designed to keep the weak from entering. As he climbed, his mysterious graveyard began to react more intensely. There was definitely some hidden secret buried here. Suddenly, several soldiers blocked his path. Stop right there, one commanded. Ordinary civilians aren't allowed on this mountain. Yi Chen frowned at the sight of them. There were soldiers guarding this place, too. Just then, Li Yun Chen arrived again, catching up to him. They're with me. Open the gate, he ordered. The soldiers immediately stood at attention and saluted. Understood, young Master Li. If they're your friends, we'll open it right away. Yi Chen sighed to himself. This guy was here again. Why was he trying so hard to help? He decided it didn't matter. As long as he didn't get in the way, he would just leave him alone. After they had been climbing for a while, they became completely exhausted. Yi Chen, I'm too tired, Wei gasped. I can't climb any further. It's even becoming difficult to breathe. Yi Chen gave a small nod of understanding. Stay here and rest. I'm going to the summit alone, and I'll be back soon. He watched her sit down. Considering how little time Wei had spent cultivating, reaching this altitude was already an impressive feat. She shouldn't push herself any further than this. As Yi Chen continued his ascent, a thick and dangerous mist suddenly surrounded him. He let out a small smile. So there was another layer of protection. This fog was powerful enough to stop an ordinary grandmaster in their tracks. Unfortunately for the mountain, he wasn't an ordinary cultivator. He unleashed a surge of his spiritual power, and the mist dispersed instantly. The mountain's true formation finally appeared right before his eyes. Yi Chen gathered his strength, feeling the air hum around him. It was time to test his power. He launched a massive attack directly at the formation. Boom! Instead of shattering, the formation surged with energy and blasted Yi Chen backward. He steadied his feet and narrowed his eyes. This formation was even stronger than he had expected. Even within the Kunlun Void, only a handful of sects possessed formations of this caliber. Why would something this powerful exist here in Hong Kong? Just then, Elder Biping arrived on the scene. That was an impressive attack for someone your age. You're truly extraordinary. The second guardian moved forward and nodded in agreement. Everything we've heard about you is true, the guardian said. You have so much confidence in your strength that you attack anything standing in your way. But now you've realized just how powerful this formation really is. In fact, it shouldn't even exist in this world. The truth is, the person who... A legendary master from the Kun Void was the one who built this formation. It's incredibly powerful, and it takes a massive amount of energy just to keep it running. This array drains every bit of spiritual energy within a 50-mile radius. That's exactly why nobody can get inside. Forget about you. Even if all 20 guardians teamed up, we still couldn't crack it. Take my advice, kid. Stop wasting your time before you seriously hurt yourself. Yen looked at him and asked, if it's truly impossible to break, then how do you get through? The second guardian just laughed. We aren't reckless like you, he sneered. Every lock needs a key, and we're the ones who hold the key to this formation. We can step into the array whenever we want. Open your eyes and see the gap between the guardians and someone like you. As soon as he finished his sentence, he walked right through the barrier without any effort at all. Biping spoke up next. Now you see just how lethal this mountain actually is. Honestly, it's a blessing that you couldn't get in. If you had, every guardian inside would have swarmed you instantly. I would have had to risk my own life just to try and pull you out of there. Yishin watched them enter so easily, and his face twisted with rage. These guardians were beyond arrogant. No one had ever treated him with such disrespect before. He wasn't ready to give up yet, so he unleashed his bloodthirsty slash. But the formation didn't even flinch. Instead, a massive wave of energy blasted him backward. He hit the ground and coughed up a mouthful of blood. He narrowed his eyes. Even the bloodthirsty slash couldn't leave a scratch. If I try using falling stars, it probably still won't be enough to destroy this thing. If I keep attacking like this, the counterattack might actually kill me. Li Yunchen rushed over to his side. Mr. Ye, you can't break this formation with raw power. Secretly, he was terrified. If that last attack had been aimed at him, there wouldn't be anything left of his body. Yen looked at him, his gaze sharp. What's the deal with your family? Why are you and your father so obsessed with me? Li Yunchen replied, Mr. Ye, this formation is so strong because of two legendary swords sealing the mountain. One is the soul-suppressing sword, and the other is the sun-breaking sword. Yen's eyes went wide. The soul-suppressing sword? He immediately thought back to that mysterious voice from the reincarnation graveyard. It had mentioned both the soul-suppressing and sun-breaking swords earlier, so this was what that voice was talking about. Li Yunchen continued, Mr. Ye, I think you should come with me. My father can explain everything that's going on here. Yen gave a short nod. Fine, I'll go. I want to find out why your family is so focused on me anyway. Before long, they pulled up to the Li family estate. Wei looked around, completely stunned. This mansion is insane, she whispered. You guys must be incredibly rich. Li Yunchen just smiled. This is nothing, really. It's just a small, decorative place we use for appearances. It isn't our actual home. He walked over to a wall and opened a hidden door. Please, step inside. Wei gasped when she saw what was behind it. There's an elevator hidden back here. This feels like a scene from a movie. The elevator started to descend deep into the earth. Wei watched the floor display in shock. We started on the ground floor, but we're still dropping. Your basement must be huge. Li Yunchen gave a small smile. You could say it's much bigger than a normal basement. Mr. Ye, you're about to see the greatest secret of our family. My father. I wanted to meet you for one specific reason. Once you lay eyes on it, everything will finally make sense. They reached the hidden underground chamber, and Li Yunchen pointed toward a massive stone wall. There it is. That's exactly what I wanted to show you. A massive mural covered the surface, depicting a man standing next to a terrifying blood dragon. Wei stared at the image in total disbelief. It was an incredible piece of art. Wait a second. Why does the man in the painting look exactly like Yen? Li Yunchen was just as stunned. I didn't notice that detail before. Now that I'm looking closely, he really does resemble Mr. Ye. Was this the real reason my father wanted to meet him? Meanwhile, a strange sensation washed over Yen. I don't know why, but this mural feels oddly familiar. My blood dragon is starting to react violently to it. Wait, I can't hold it back anymore. Suddenly, the blood dragon exploded out of Yen's body. At that same moment, the evil spirit briefly took control of Wei's body. It needed to protect her from the overwhelming pressure. Lai Yun-chen watched in horror. What kind of power is this? The sheer force of the energy knocked him flat on his back. Lai Chang hurried over to his side. My son, are you all right? He looked at Yen with an expression of pure shock. This man is truly terrifying. Yen immediately turned his attention to Wei. Wei, are you okay? She gave a small nod. I'm fine. Lai Chang silently analyzed everything that had just happened. The blood dragon we just saw was much smaller, but it matches the dragon in the mural perfectly. Even Yen's appearance is a mirror image of the man in the painting. Could my theory have been correct this whole time? This situation has become extremely serious. This mural wasn't painted recently. It was created thousands of years ago. The masters of that era were so powerful that some could even see the future. Back then, the world's spiritual energy was much richer than it is today. People from that age could even reach immortality. This mural was created during that legendary time. It seems one of those ancient masters already predicted Mr. Yai's existence. Yen pulled out a healing pill. I'm sorry that I couldn't fully control my spiritual energy. This pill will heal your injuries, and you can consider the second one a gift from me. Lai Chang accepted the medicine respectfully. Thank you very much. He then turned back to his son, Yun-chen. Why don't you show our guests around the estate? Lai Yun-chen smiled warmly. Miss Wei, please come with me. I'll treat you to some of the local specialties here in Hong Kong. Yen gave her a nod. Go ahead, Wei. Have a good time. At the same time, Yen had a private thought. They're deliberately sending Wei away. Whatever they want to say, they don't want anyone else to hear it. After Wei left, Lai Chang finally spoke up. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Yai. My name is Lai Chang, and I'm the head of the Lai family. I specifically invited you here because of this mural. Yen looked directly at the painting and asked a question. What's the history behind all of this? Both the blood dragon and the man in this painting look exactly like me. Lai Chang replied honestly. To be fair, I don't know everything either. This all started many years ago. Jiangda Mountain isn't just extraordinary today. It has been a sacred location for thousands of years. My ancestors told me that in ancient times, countless powerful experts would gather here because of the mountain. To protect it, the guardians have always stayed at this place. Our ancestors eventually realized that this land was incredibly special. That's why our clan moved here generations ago and established the Lai family. Ever since that day, our family's fortune has skyrocketed. Whether in business or our cultivation, we surged ahead of everyone else. Eventually, we rose to become the most powerful family in all of Hong Kong. My grandfather had a hunch that something was buried deep beneath this soil, so he ordered a massive excavation. This is what we found down there. This mural is the sole reason for our family's great success. Ye Chen looked at him, his expression unreadable. I'm just an outsider. Why are you sharing these secrets with me? If the world found out the Li family owes everything to this land, they would never leave you alone. Li Cheng simply smiled. I believe in destiny, and I know you aren't the type of man who would betray someone. Even if you did, and my family fell apart because of it, I wouldn't regret my choice. Besides, we won't last much longer without your help anyway. Ye Chen's brow furrowed. What exactly do you mean? If things have been going so well, why are you talking about your family being destroyed? Lai Cheng let out a heavy, weary sigh. 10 years ago, someone stumbled upon our secret. They kidnapped my father, hoping to beat the truth out of him. My father died, but he never said a single word. The man who murdered him was Yuan Baron, one of the 19 guardians. Yi Chen nodded slowly. Your father protected the secret, even at the cost of his own life. If he hadn't, the Li family wouldn't have survived until today. Lai Cheng continued, his voice full of bitterness. That bastard wasn't satisfied with just killing my father. He came here intending to erase every last one of us. But Elder Bai stepped in and saved our lives. Out of all the guardians, he's the only one who still genuinely cares about the common people. I know I don't have many years left, and Elder Bai is getting very old too. Once both of us are gone, Yuan Baron will definitely come back to finish what he started. That man is a guardian in name only. He's committed endless crimes against this country, and my family is just one of his many victims. Mr. Yi, I'm asking you to kill him. In return, I'll give you this key. Ye Chen's eyes narrowed instantly. The key to Jiangdan Mountain. How did your family get their hands on it? Li Cheng explained that one of their ancestors once did a favor for a guardian. As a reward, that guardian handed over this key. So many generations have passed that almost everyone has forgotten it even exists. That's how it stayed hidden in our family's possession for so long. I'm ready to give it to you. All I want is for you to help me avenge my father. Ye Chen replied, I already have my own problems with the guardians, but tell me something, how did you know I would go to Jiangdan Mountain? To an ordinary person, picking a fight with the Guardians there is basically a suicide mission. So, why are you so certain I'll show up? Lai Cheng answered with total confidence. I'm certain you'll go tomorrow. You'll face every single Guardian there and you'll still come out on top. If you don't believe me, just take a look at this. He revealed another ancient mural. It showed Yi Chen standing alone against a sea of enemies on the mountain. Yi Chen stared at the image in shock. It really does look like a glimpse into the future, like a battle that's destined to happen tomorrow. So when I climb that mountain, talking won't solve a thing. I'll have to fight every last one of them. Judging from this mural, I'm going to be seriously injured. But the biggest question is, what is that sword in my hand? I don't own a weapon like that. Li Cheng pointed toward the mural. That is the soul suppressing. That's the sword, one of the 2 legendary treasures hidden away inside Jiangdane Mountain. According to what's written on this mural, you won't just survive tomorrow. You're also going to get your hands on this supreme divine blade. Yen looked up and asked, are there any other murals like this one? Li Cheng shook his head. Sadly, no. We're still digging through other parts of these underground ruins. If we find anything else, I'll let you know right away. Honestly, that's the real reason I brought you here. I knew you were planning to take on the Guardians, so I was hoping you'd lend me a hand. Ekin went quiet, lost in his own thoughts. He'd watched his father get ambushed right before his eyes, and he knew exactly what that kind of pain felt like. Luckily, his father was still alive, even if Fungi was still holding him captive. Li Cheng was right. These Guardians act like they're so righteous, but deep down, they're just like any other greedy martial artist. They only care about their own interests. Since I've already made up my mind to kill Feng, adding another Guardian to the hit list doesn't change a thing. He turned his gaze back to Li Cheng. Don't worry, he said. I'm not letting Yuan Biren walk away. He's going to die by my hand. The scene shifted over to Jiangdao Mountain. One of the Guardians spoke up, sounding skeptical. Do you honestly think that kid is going to show up tomorrow? Nobody's dumb enough to try and take on every single Guardian at the same time. Fun Zhen Yi just smirked at the question. He thinks his father is still in my custody. If he didn't believe that, why else would he have come all the way to Hong Kong? Besides, you don't know the first thing about that boy's background. With how arrogant he is, there's no way he'll stay away from a fight. You're all sitting here wondering if he'll show up tomorrow, but he already tried to come today. He even tried to smash through the formation, but he couldn't pull it off. Yuan Biran frowned and asked, then why are we even meeting inside this secret chamber? Don't tell me you're actually thinking about using the soul-suppressing sword. He looked at Fun Yai and sighed. Forget it. Even if every Guardian here teamed up, we wouldn't even be able to budge that thing. Trying to use it is nothing but a fantasy. Another Guardian chimed in. A prophecy was made about that sword a long time ago. It says its true master will eventually appear. When that person finally arrives, they won't even have to lay a finger on the blade. The sword will just fly to its master on its own. I can't help but wonder who that person could be. If the strongest Guardians among us can't even lift it, how powerful does someone have to be for the sword to choose them?